Hey guys, you said in comment section I wouldn't be able to reach 500 corruption with my Judgement Aura Paladin build, so here I am farming 1000 corruption ecos, killing 1000 corruption monolith bosses and defeating 1000 corruption robbies, and all without any problems. So it's Raychich and this is already the short video about my Judgement Aura build, the most enjoyable builds I've played so far, so this is really super chill build. It's been a while since the last video and since then I've progressed through 700 bonus corruption and made a lot of changes, so don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will tell you everything you need to know about this build. So sources of damage, defense layers, items, skills and playstyle. So let's start with the basics. My character now is at level 99. About my main skill is Judgement, as I said before, and you actually saw this. So Judgement Aura is everything we need to kill enemies in maps, but sometimes we can use Healing Hands, which works actually as a main source of ward retention, of ward regeneration in this build, and also it applies many kind of things like Shred Armor, Frailty on hit, Blind on hit, and also we get Ambition stacks, we get stacks because of our belt for bonus spell damage, so we need Healing Hands to improve our Judgement damage and to heal our character, not to deal damage. About playstyle against the bosses, imagine this center of this stone is a boss. What you need to do, you need to come into the area to use your javelin, which works as actually bonus damage for our next judgment. So when we cast javelin, we get bonus Judgement Aura damage for the next cast. So when you use your javelin against enemies, we will deal more damage with a new Judgement Aura, right? So also what actually javelin does, it is when you cast it, you see this fire path, so it will be dealing damage over time against enemies, and also we will get life regeneration while standing on this path. When you actually enter the boss area, you need to cast your javelin, then you need to cast your Judgement, and then just start spamming your Healing Hands, and enemies will be armor shredded, frailty on hit, ambition stacks, which gives a bonus spell damage for our character, and stacks because of our belt. So yeah, and time after time you need to recast your holy aura because it will improve your elemental resistances if you don't have them cap, and also more damage, right? So pretty easy to understand how to fight bosses. How to fight regular monsters in your ecos, I mean, you just need to spawn in your eco, then one time use javelin and Judgement and just run. Everyone is gonna die. And against tanky rares, you just imagine this girl is a tanky rare monster. You just need to sometimes use your Healing Hands, or if you're dying, you need to use your Healing Hands, right? So let me start with my health. This build has 3,400 health and 6,000 ward when we actually spamming our Healing Hands, so it's not bad, right? Also, it has 80% movement speed, so we are fast. We are not slow as fuck. About resistances, don't look at this one because I just was lazy as fuck. But when I cast my Holy Aura, we're good. So it's cap off all resistances. About block chance with this build, right now I have 91% block chance, and I used to have 95%, but then I just swapped my shield. So this one is better. So I have 91% block chance and 55% block effectiveness. So it works really good against bosses and against rare monsters. Also I have 43% armor in this build and 100% reduced bonus damage from crits. So it's about my defense. About the damage and how to scale your damage with this build: fire damage over time, enchantment, spell damage, and fire spell damage. So you need to target these modifiers attacks to improve your Judgement Aura. And yeah, you shouldn't care about improving your Healing Hands damage, I mean about this Divine Bolts damage, because we just need it to be able to apply this Frailty on hit, Shred Armor on hit, and Blind on hit, and to improve our Judgement damage. So yeah, I just, now you know everything about attacks you need to target to scale your Judgement. Now about actually items, skills, idols, so yeah, everything. So let's start with my wand. So it's not a wand, actually scepter is Abra's command. I used to wear this scepter in previous video, but this time I just changed the legendary modifier, so I had 2 LPs on this scepter. And what you should know about this unique scepter, or legendary right now, basically the basic modifier gives me 269 increased damage over time, which is quite a lot. So yeah, it scales our Judgment Hour a lot. And basic Amulet Scepter gives spell damage, melee damage, because yeah, it's pretty important. And about legendary modifiers that you need to target playing this build is absolutely cast speed, because we want to spam our healing hats as fast as possible to get this amount of bonus words and to faster apply ambition stacks because of this unique idol, which gives more fire damage per stack of ambition, and also armor, so it gives defense and damage at the same time. And so cast speed is pretty important here, and the second legendary modifier should be increase damage over time, increase fire damage over time, increase fire damage, or increase spell damage. So it's up to you. The next one is my body armor. It's not the best, but I just didn't want to invest everything that I had into this build to make it actually playable for you guys. So about body armor, choose something with a good amount of armor. I mean, in just a base item. Also about modifiers, it has increased fire damage over time, increase health, 38% health, so it is tier 7 health, and also Attunement, and Lightning Rest is just trash here. So Attunement scales our Judgment Aura damage, and also, if you didn't know how to scale Judgment, I forgot to say about it, guys. Healing Effectiveness gives 1 spell damage per 5% increased healing effectiveness for the aura. So I basically have, let me just show you. But I have 1413 healing effectiveness in this build, so it gives a lot of bonus damage for our consecrated ground, and also it scales our healing hands healing effect, so we'll get more ward, right, and more health. So yeah, about my shields, I use Raychich Light. So this is the best shield in slot for this build, because I used to play with Majasa shield because it had more block chance, but this one gives 30% block chance and 951 block effectiveness, I mean, on the base item. And also I just combined it with 26% block chance, so it's tier 7. Also, why this shield is actually the best for this build, because it gives increased fire damage, which is quite a lot for this build. Also, it gives +1 to Judgment, to our main source of, I mean, to our main skill. And also it gives increased healing effectiveness, which, as I said before, improves our damage and improves our defense. So the best shield in slot. About helmet that I have in this build, actually you should care about +2 level to your healing hands, because we need to have like at least +3 to healing hands level, and also it gives increased healing effectiveness. So this mod is the most important on helmets. About other mods, I have increased fire damage over time, increased health, and just trash modifiers. So yeah, about amulet that I have in this build, I use like this amulet base is shit, so the best amulet base for this build is for cast speed, I guess, but I have this one. About modifiers, it has increased elemental damage, for our damage, of course, increased healing effectiveness, and it's really important to have chance to shred armor on hit and chance to apply frailty on hit, because as you probably know, or if you don't, shred armor gives more damage against enemies, and frailty on hit for our bonus survivability. And also I have health, so I have sealed health. And I mean, this amulet is pretty good, so try to find or to farm or to buy something like this one. About my rings, my left ring is actually Ashes of Mortality. I have only one of these rings, so this is really good ring for this build because it gives cast speed. It gives cast speed, which is really important for our healing hands. Also, it gives chance to hit to gain 2 ward per ignite. Also, it gives ward retention, so it means we will like have this amount of ward for longer time, and it's really easy to find, I mean, to farm or to buy with 2 LP, and I just crafted and got healing effectiveness and spell damage. So I guess healing effectiveness and spell damage is one of the best modifiers for this ring, but you can have with like healing effectiveness and damage over time, or healing effectiveness and fire damage, so something like this. About my second ring is a Sun Wrath ring. The most important here about the second ring is that it's really easy to get 3 LPs here. So I have 3 mods here, 3 crafted mods legendary, and all of them are crazy. So healing effectiveness, damage over time, and health. So yeah, and about basic modifiers on this unique item, like it gives more fire damage over time. So I mean, really good ring with 3 LP, right? About my belt, I use Emulator's Oblation belt because it gives chance to gain frenzy for 2 seconds when you directly use a fire or necrotic skill per stack of ignite on you, and Judgement has fire attack, and also healing hands is really important, that healing hands has fire attack. So also it gives spell damage for fire and necrotic skills per stack on ignite on you, so we get the bonus spell damage because we actually spam our healing hands, and here you can see we're igniting ourselves. And also I just crafted elemental damage over time here and increase health, so the best 2 crafted modifiers, you know, on this item for sure. About my gloves, I use Hand of Judgment gloves. You probably know that this gloves is insanely good when you playing unarmed, so without your weapon. But what is really important about these gloves, that it gives fire penetration, which actually scales our damage with our Judgment Hour a lot. Also it gives plus attunement, which also scales our damage with Judgment. And these gloves are extremely cheap and easy to farm with 2 or 3 LPs. So about modifiers, very careful guys, because to make this build work, actually you need to have percent of current health lost per second and percent of missing health gained as word per second, because only with these modifiers we can actually spam our healing hands because we are losing our health. But you shouldn't care, I mean, don't worry about your health loss, because with Judgment Hour active we get a lot of regeneration, so we're on full life all the time. About my other modifiers that I have here is hybrid health and just a regular health, so pretty good one with 3 LPs, I think. About boots, one of my subscribers just told me about these boots in comment section below the last video, and I actually realized that is really good option for this build. It gives 79%, I have with 79% reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes, because I mean you can have critical avoidance in your builds, but when this avoidance actually doesn't work, you will be just one-shotted because of a boss. But with these boots, sometimes we cannot be just dead after big boom from the pinnacle boss. So yeah, reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes. Also it gives fire damage, movement speed, and yeah, I have crafted movement speed here and attunement, so yeah, try to find or to farm something like this. About the relics, so I tested about 4 relics for this build, and then I just realized that I had this relic in previous 2 videos and I still will use it because this is the best relic for this build. So is Coat of an Erased Sentinel. So this relic is a Weaver's item, so you need to care about your good modifiers. It's pretty easy to farm these relics. You just need to use your Weaver's tree right here. So let me just show you. You need to use your a Weaver's tree and put this relic right here in these slots, and you will get a lot of these relics. And just to play with them, and you will get random modifiers. So you should actually search for one relic with +4 to Judgment and any other skills. So that's all about my items. We just discussed about every item in this build. Now about my idols. As I mentioned earlier, we use Throne of Ambition, unique idol in this build, because it gives a stack of ambition when we hit a boss or rare enemy, and as I said before, we spamming our healing hands, and every this click is a hit. So yeah, so we get ambition stacks, it gives fire damage per stack, armor per stack, and it has 20 maximum stacks, so pretty good one. About my other idols that I use, so I use 3 big idols with, these 3 are quite expensive if you play Merchant's Guild. So I use 3 with increased healing effectiveness and block effectiveness. Here I have really bad crafted bonus modifier, but yeah, healing effectiveness and block effectiveness is the best for this build idol. The next one is also with this mods, but with crafted increased damage over time and ward per second, so it's not bad. And the last one is also with healing effectiveness and block effectiveness, and it gives increased armor, and armor mitigation also applies to damage over time and less damage over time taken while using a shield. And about my small idols, just find something like this with increased healing effectiveness and health and some resistances. They're quite cheap and quite easy to farm. So that's about my items, idols, playstyle, defense, and actually damage layers. To scale your defense even more than I have right now, what you need to do, guys, you need to target scaling your block effectiveness and armor on your items. So with block effectiveness, armor on your items, and some kind of cast speed, you will have pretty much more than I have, and you will have more like survivability. Now about my skills. So let's start with Judgement. You can copy all my trees, I mean, from the link in the description, because it will be there for sure. So my Judgement aura is pretty simple. We just need this one to make our consecrated ground an aura. Also this for duration, this for damage, because it gives damage for area, for damage, and for damage. About my Symbols of Hope, you don't need to activate Symbols of Hope, so I recommend to not use it at all, just to have it, because it passively gives additional fire damage and increased healing regeneration, and also it gives block chance because of our passive tree, I mean our Paladin passive tree. So yeah, about my Holy Aura, we just recast it every few seconds because it gives even more damage and more resistances. So I have health regen, ward, fort retention, healing, fire penetration, and global fire damage. So Javelin, as I said before, we need to actually scale our Judgement damage for the second use. Also it gives more shred armor, but we don't care about it because we have our Amulet. Also more damage over time. Actually Holy Trail to make this skill to be able to deal damage over time, more damage and more damage. And the last one is Healing Hands. So you need to actually take here more ward, more healing, more healing, more healing, more damage, more defense, and a little bit of damage, more damage, because anyway, like Healing Hands is not the main source of it's not our main source of damage, but anyway, it's bonus damage, so why not? And actually I use Divine Bolts right here. When you are surrounded by many monsters in your ecos and everyone just attacking you, you sometimes cast your healing effectiveness anyway for your wards regeneration, and every item will every enemy will be touched by this divine bolt, so it means every enemy will be affected by shred armor, by frailty, by blinded, and yeah, so yeah, I do recommend to have a divine catalyst right here. About my passive tree, it will be, of course, you can just copy it. So yeah, here it is. Here is the chance to blind, so you can take 1 point or 2 points here, and everything else you can copy from my link in the description. So yeah, I think I discussed everything about this build. It's pretty important, guys, to you to like this video, to leave a comment, and to not forget to subscribe if you haven't. I tried my best. I literally spent almost 2 weeks of my life just by improving this build to make it work. So thank you so much, guys. It was Raychich as always. See you in the future videos. Love you all, and goodbye.